What was that? I should kill everyone and escape. Sorry. The voices. I'm kidding. That's not what they really said. Hi Puddin', my name is sHarley Quinn. Today, in conjunction with Halloween, I decided to be basic. So today I thought I'd do something a little different. I'm gonna be reading an article by Thought Catalog. It's called 21 People Describe the Most Terrifying Random Encounter of Their Life. I'm probably just gonna list my top 5. I don't want this video to be way too long. I hope you guys enjoy it. The first one is called The Creature Skipping Through the Forest. So let me start this off by saying I'm a fan of long walks. I had recently discovered a walking path in a park I am particularly fond of and decided to try it out. This path was longer than I had expected, considering I was walking on it for a good hour and a half before reaching the end. Once I did end up reaching the end, I realized it's really dark now, so I started to head back. And I'm getting pretty paranoid. I get a call from a friend who was going to meet me in the park about 20 minutes after I started the trail, wondering where I was. So I pick up the phone explaining I was on the trail when I see some white human-looking thing just skipping through the forest.
Catch me if you can. You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Universal sign of creepy shit. So there I am, halfway through a walking trail trying to get out when I see some random human thing just skipping through, then just vanishes out of thin air. I'm freaking out at the time, literally tiptoeing through the forest for 45 minutes while I'm trying to make sure this thing doesn't pop out of anywhere. Still have no idea what that thing was, and I'm sure as hell not going back there at night. Story number 2. One night, around 3 a.m., I was dead asleep with my ex-boyfriend next to me. All of a sudden, I hear someone in my house asking if anyone was home. I woke up my ex and told him to go see what the hell was going on. He was a total chicken shit and made me go. I get out of equality. I get out of bed, can't find my glasses, but the guy's still shouting. I come out of my bedroom in my pajamas and see there's this big bald dude in what looks to be a police uniform standing in my entryway. I'm squinting, trying to get a good look at him, and he looks at me and says, "I just wanted to tell you that your door was left unlocked and you should lock it." I mumble something to the effect of, thanks, as he leaves my apartment. I'm still as blind as a bat, but I see that he walks away instead of getting into a car. No policeman would be policing the woodsy area I live in on foot. The next day I called the local police station and asked if any officers had reported this incident, and they said they would check with me with the on-duty officers and get back to me. They called me the next day and said no one had done this. I still get freaked out when I think about this happening, and I wish I knew what that guy was up to. Honestly, it's probably like a nice person who just wanted to tell them to lock their door. Sometimes there are nice people in this world. Story number 3. The Screaming Woman on the Bike Path. Growing up, I always wanted to go on a bike ride at night. Something about it seemed really cool to me. Right after the sunset, I was off. I was flying down this hill, having an absolute blast, and darted right through the parameters. After 15 minutes riding along this dirt path, I hear singing. It sounded about 30 to 40 feet in front of me. Oh my god, it's a vampire, it's a mermaid, just run the hell the other way. I stopped riding to hear it better. It was a woman's voice. She was singing Eleanor, Rigby by the Beatles, but she wasn't singing the words, just the melody of the vocals. Her voice was strange. You know how when you have phlegm in your throat, your voice gets scratchy? That's what her voice sounded like. Maybe she was having a sore throat. I decided to get my flashlight out. I'm thinking that maybe this person is in need of help or something. Or maybe this is an insane person and the light will scare them away. Do you honestly think an insane person will be scared of the light? They will come towards the light and bite your head off. You need to put yourself out of that situation. So I take the flashlight out of my pocket, point at her, and turn it on. Girl, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. This is where all the horror movies start. This is where you get eaten. This is where you die. The moment the light hit her, she stopped moving completely. She was wearing a very oversized bright red hoodie. I was almost too scared to move. I think she was too. I conjured up as much bravery as I could and said sorry in a very oops, this is the wrong room kind of way. She didn't respond. I turned off the flashlight and put it back in my pocket. Just as I was turning my bike around, she screams. She screams in an awful, awful high-pitched voice. I damn near shit myself as I threw myself back onto the bike. I hear her voice getting closer to me. I book it as fast as I can. I don't look behind me and I don't stop pedaling. Her screaming grew quieter and quieter until it dissolved into the howling of the wind. This is your fault! Why would you flash the light in someone's face? If you flash the light in my face and I'm singing and I know I suck, I am going to scream at you too! I have a story to tell. So that one time we went hiking, just kidding. We were going to go hiking, but then my friend had her period and my other friend was like, you know what? Let's just get brunch. So instead of going hiking, we went for brunch instead. So we were sitting there minding our own business when this one lady out of nowhere, she was like muttering to herself, and then she looked at my friend Jen and she was just staring at her like, Jen was sitting right here and this lady just came up to her and was like, I kid you not, she blew in her ear. You want to talk crazy? I've seen crazy. Anyway, next story. Story number 4. I once lived in a sort of bad neighborhood in a very tiny house with my brother who was rarely there. Old house, so it was a little creepy and also felt like anyone who wanted to could have broken in. One night, I was getting ready for bed. It was pretty late and during a hot summer. I slipped out of my pants and changed my shirt. I am about to hop into bed when I hear a low masculine voice say, "Let's see those titties again." I think my whole body stopped working for 5 seconds while I absorbed the fact that there was a creepy peeping Tom right outside my window and I was alone in the house that he could get into if he wanted. It was the first and only time I called 911. I had a panic attack waiting for the police and the very nice 911 lady had to calm me down. Apparently it was a slow night because they sent 3 cars. I was so happy when I moved. Story number 5. The Monster in the Bookstore. This sounds like it. If you guys watch that movie scared me. I couldn't use the bathroom unless my roommate was home. It's how scared I was of that movie. Speaking of which, just thinking of that makes me not want to use the bathroom. And I kind of need to poop eventually. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I was at a bookstore just browsing around and waiting for my ride to come up. As I went from aisle to aisle, I realized the same guy is going to all the same aisles as me. Pretty much following me. Normally, I wouldn't have been scared, but what made this terrifying is that this man wore his hoodie on his head so that I could not see his face. Georgie, is that you? It seriously felt like something out of a stalker movie. I was just talking about that! I began to move to areas in the store that were close to the employees. Eventually, I'm getting ready to go up to an employee and tell them everything, and the hooded man comes up from another aisle and steps right in front of me. He pulls down his hood and says something trying to be friendly, like, "Sorry, I just like to play this game I call Monster." I was so scared and confused, I walked to another part of the store away from him, called my ride, and luckily my ride was just arriving. Hi, Key! Oh my god, I would actually be terrified too, but can you imagine? He's just a troll. Alright, well that's all the stories that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We survived it, you guys. Good job. High five, internet friend. Hey! Pat on the back. Thanks for coming with me and reading these horror stories with me and keeping me company. Comment down below which story you think is the scariest. I would be too scared to read this alone. I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and I will see you guys next time. Bye!